Hello everyone. With the faint pitter-patter of rain against the rooftop, let us go into another harmonic journey. The idea here is for us to come into who we truly are and resonate with that frequency or vibration as much as possible. A lot of times we get caught in the world in anxiety, panic, we feel lack, fear, and we get fused with that and we act from that place. But as soon as we become aware that we're anxious or we're fearful or any of those negative qualities, as soon as we become aware of that, it means that we're not that we're more than that. And at that point, there can be some separation. And now we can use that awareness to transform our state. And I call it tuning awareness, because we are all tuning instruments. And we have the capacity to tune into any vibration, any frequency, any level of consciousness. And so that's why you've heard me say, if we want to raise the vibration in the space around us, we don't have to bring anything from outside of the room into us. We will just merely dial in the higher vibration from the frequency that is already here now, that is present, just like that classical music that we've spoken of that's already in this room, as is the rock music. We can just tune that in, dial it in. So just now we ask for the highest and purest light from the highest and purest source to surround and fill each one of us in the space that we're in now for the highest good. And so for all of the possibilities that were available to us, we selected, we dialed in, we called ourselves forward into a sacredness, a holiness, a sacred light, a Holy Spirit, if you will, that now pervades the space we're in each one of us. And we always ask for the highest good. So all we did there was just tune in. And we can use this tuning awareness to transform the space that we're in. Now the idea here is that we want to move from the ego personality, which is like a little contracted, not always of course, but perhaps if we're in anxiety or panic, where it's like, or fear. And behind it is this awareness we spoke about. We could call it our true self, let's say, our soul, our spirit. And this is always calm. Just like, hey, hello, everything's okay. But it's like, look at what's going on. It's okay, everything's okay. Everything's okay. So what we want to do is bring this one to the forefront and this one in the background. Now, what's interesting, I'll just raise this one up a little bit here. What's interesting is that when this ego personality or this part of us that is like, comes behind who we truly are, it relaxes. We don't have to get rid of anything. It's all a part of us. We just have to put it in its correct place. This over here was misplaced. But it was feeling that it had an important job to do. Its intent was positive for us, just a little misguided. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's appropriate to be fearful or anxious. Not always a bad thing. It's just not a good thing to be all the time, and particularly when it's inappropriate. In other words, when we are actually safe and we don't need to be anxious or fearful. We're just doing it out of habit. So as soon as we move the true self forward here, this relaxes and goes, oh, okay, I don't have to do that, but I'm still here. If you need me, I'm still here. And we go, thank you. We embrace it We love it. We make it an ally and part of us. So, how do we do this? That's what we're going to go into here. And it's very simple. So again, we just ask for the light, for the highest good. And we just become aware of where we are. We can just focus on the rising and the falling of our breath to do that, without any forcing at all. And then we use our tuning awareness to become aware of the space around us. You can actually open your eyes and just be aware of your peripheral vision. By that I mean I'm aware of my hands here. So I'm looking at the screen, but I'm not looking at the screen. I can see the screen, I'm receiving the screen. That idea of receiving is so important. We'll be talking a lot more about that. Just receiving the screen. I'm not forcing it or anything, but I'm aware here. And that immediately creates a spaciousness. I can close my eyes again and just be aware of the space behind me. Space between my back and all the space behind me. There you go. You see, what happened just then inside of me anyway was that I could feel already that I was moving from a beta brainwave state, which is focused, of course I'm focused on doing this presentation here. So there's a little bit of over-focus perhaps. Suddenly when I moved into space, I went into more of an alpha brainwave state, which is one that is present, but is relaxed. It's a relaxed present, much more sustainable than a beta state. And that just like, it feels good. My shoulders drop a little bit. Now I want to be aware of the space, or all of us, to the side of us. If you're watching this, you're obviously in front of a screen of some kind. So the space between you and the screen, become aware of the space. The space. The space behind the screen. The space on top of your head. And now the space between your ears. Yes, there is space between your ears. Most of our existence here is space. It's a scientific fact. So we become aware of that space. The space in you and around you. Just enter into that spaciousness right now. And know that that spaciousness has its own intelligence. Beyond the mind. If you're thinking, you're in the mind. Go back into the spaciousness. The thoughts become like clouds. In you, the sky. John Roger speaks of the spiritual sky. We are the spiritual sky. Spaciousness. Now if you have something to do, I'm going to ask that you return to your room, to the space that you're in right now. But if you're in your bed or if you're into meditation, please keep on going. But if you need to return, a nice way to do that is to bring your hands together and close the circuit and open your eyes very, very gently. But for those of you who want to continue on, just keep going into the spaciousness. And know that the mystical traveler consciousness will take you where you need to go for your highest good. You may even see a color in your inner vision.